Yo, hey guys. This is Helena, for anyone that doesn't know. She was joining me on the stream yesterday, and we're going to give a couple of thoughts and conclusions about what we thought about 5&0, how to crush it, how to teach everyone else to crush it, and what we've learned over the last 24 hours. Just as a little update, we've managed to now triple our bankroll. Doesn't that feel good? Doesn't that feel good to triple a bankroll? We've turned $50 into $152. It's real dark. Sorry, it's real light. Close that. And people didn't think it was going to happen this quickly. Even I didn't think it was going to happen this quickly, and I am an everlasting optimist. So, what did we learn on the stream yesterday, Helena?
Don't be mean about dicks.
Don't be mean about dicks. We learned a lot about male positivity, body positivity, and also female body positivity as well. And that's one of the cool things that I found about the stream is that there's been a lot of poker talk, a lot of poker strategy, but there's also just been a lot of like love, kindness, acceptance, and deep topic thinking. And that's kind of what people are there for, at the same time as wanting to become professional poker players. So I'm going to go a bit into the strategies that I've kind of figured out about 5&0. I'm just going to keep you guys up to date as I'm moving pretty quickly through the stakes. It's going to be maybe, hopefully just like 2 or 3 videos, maybe 4 or 5 videos on each stake if things go well. So I'm going to try and get some dense information out there. The things I've noticed about 5&0 players is they're somewhere in between the first level of thinking about, what is my hand? And the second level of thinking about, what is their hand? But they're not quite adjusted to the second level. This is obviously a generalization, but this is the key thing that you need to take home with you if you're going to be learning the microstakes. You need to be good at generalizing, because when you're playing in a Zoom pool, when you're playing in the cash game tables online, you do not know who you're playing against. It is essentially anonymous. You may have some notes on some people, you may have some HUD stats on other people, but I would recommend turning off that HUD whilst you're only at 2 or 5 now, because my god is it difficult to multitask HUDs and learning poker at the same time. So you need to be able to generalize. You need to be able to know what the average person in the player pool that you are playing in does. And so here I am to help you generalize, and please don't just like write down, they are somewhere in between level 1 and level 2. Sit there and think, be like, okay, what does that mean? How would I adjust to that? And how did he come up with this? And what other things could I notice about how other people play, and how would I adjust to that? Maybe just make something up. What if everyone 3-bet all the time? What if everyone had a really low 4-bet percentage? What would you do? And that's the thing that I was doing when I was moving up stakes. And what I really hammer on Helena to do when she's posting hands, she'll be like, what should I do here? That's her voice. I would say, first of all, what do you think? And second of all, what is the concept that you can draw from this hand? And make sure, as I've said before, thinking conceptually about everything. So generalizations. They're not quite up to the standard of working out what to do in response to knowing what your hand is or what your hand could be. So some people will be like, he's 3-bet before the flop and he's bet the flop. He's probably got aces. But then they're still not generally like disciplined enough to fold. Or they might be like, okay, I've got a big hand, and I think he might have a slightly less big hand. They still haven't quite figured out enough how to exploit that by betting big, And one of the things that this means is that they are left with a lot of very unsure thought processes, and this makes people a lot harder to range. In 2&0, it was kind of easy ranging people. You just gave everyone all hands, and then just bet big when you hit a big hand, and just went with it, because if they have top pair, second pair, third pair, sometimes they'll just stack off if you have a set. Here on 5&0, people are a lot harder to range. Sometimes they'll be adjusting really strongly in one direction, sometimes they'll be adjusting really strongly in another direction. One actually really cool thing I noticed, which was really fun, on the first day that I was playing 5&0, I was doing some really cool hero calls, like, ace-high hero call, and way too many times I would just get caught out by them being like, I was bluffing with 4th pair. So she's here for the funny voices. We all are, really. If you're the kind of person that doesn't laugh at funny voices, my god, you need to do something about that, because, well, if there are 2 people, one person that gets enjoyment, one person that doesn't, then who do you think's the winner in life? So what is the adjustment that you can do if you realize that people are kind of like bluffing with value, like with made hands but not value hands, the thing that I started doing is re-bluffing, because they're in the bluff mindset. They're not gonna like hero call once you raise them. And there was this one hand where I had 10 high on a double pair board, and I was like, I'm pretty sure he's bluffing, but I'm scared he's bluffing with king high. So instead of just calling like I would against like a reasonable player that knows ranges that I think's bluffing, I raised. And guys, pause your video here after I ask the question. What size would you raise to? Pause. Correct! You would raise to the minimum because you want to get the cheapest price to be right about how you're bluffing. And this is just one example of many, many, many examples. Like I said, don't just write down min raise when you think they're bluffing. This is something that you need to come and bring into your own mind. Think about why I came to that conclusion. Think about other things that you could conclude, and then branch out your knowledge of poker, because there are so many little things like that. There are hundreds and hundreds of things that you can learn, little tricks that you can learn, but instead of having to rely on someone else to spoon feed you that information, you want to be the kind of person that can go home, think about it yourself, and be the person that says, hey guys, your friends, me, if you want to speak about it, I can't promise I'll reply, but I'll give it a good shot. I've had this idea, what do you think about this? And maybe start a dialogue. And if you don't have anyone else to speak to, just think about it. And that's all I did when I was moving up the stakes. I would dream about poker. I would think about poker when I woke up. I would think about poker in the shower. I was absolutely obsessed and too right. And this is something else that I'm going to speak about a lot. It's kind of like the lifestyle behind poker and how you would integrate that into the way that you think. And one of the things that you really need to do, that I've told Helena to do, is you need to fucking obsess about poker. And I'm going to go into a lot more detail about this and different videos that I'm going to make. But I mean, Helena, I've told you to basically just like give up your life.
Yeah.
How's that gone?
It's been great. I love it.
Yeah, and that's why I'm sticking with coaching Helena, because she has that dedication. She has the ability. Yeah, that's right. She has the ability to dedicate herself to something so intensely, to such an extreme, and still have fun doing it. Because if you're the kind of person that is going to go to this extreme, be playing 10 hours a day of poker at the beginning of your poker career, when it's meant to be that rose-tinted glasses stage of the relationship with poker, then I've forgotten how I began this sentence, but if you're the kind of person that can't do that, can't do that and maintain the enjoyment, then you're not going to be able to make it, because you need to be able to be bitten by this poker bug and be fucking sick. You need to be the sicko that is within all of us. And some people don't have that, and you need to be honest with yourself. And I'm not going to be sitting here being like, everyone can be a professional poker player, because there are lots of things that will mean that you can't be. And dedication and motivation are two things that I'm not going to be able to teach you. You're going to have to be able to either have it naturally, or you're going to have to be able to teach it yourself or learn it yourself. So when you're not playing poker, when you're not watching poker, you still need to be thinking about poker. I tell my students, the ones that I coach seriously, I don't think it's a stage in your life that you should be going out and drinking. I don't think it's a stage in your life that you should be going out and partying. I don't think it's a stage of your life you should be going out and making new friends. And it's a real brutal truth. It's hard to say, and it's difficult. It was difficult for me to say the first few times, but it was also easy because I did have a leg to stand on, because that's exactly what I did. I moved out of the place I was living in England, and I moved in with my grandma in Jersey, and I played for 15 hours a day, and that was real intense for me, and I lost a lot of friends through that. A lot of people saying, Charlie, you're doing some terrible things and I want to separate myself from you, or people saying, why aren't you replying to me? And they didn't understand. I would explain it to them once, maybe twice, and if they kept not understanding, I would say, okay, I'm going to ignore them. And this is one of the brutal truths of becoming a professional poker player, but at the same time, it can be a gift if you look at it from the right angle. You can be that person that in 5 years' time can look back and say, hey, I pushed myself to that extreme. I learned everything there was to learn about poker, and I made millions of dollars, and now I have the rest of my life set up in the way that I want it to be set up, instead of having to work in that office. And it's a personal decision, and maybe you're the kind of person that can't give up your social life or drinking or smoking or anything like that. By the way, smoking cigarettes, don't do that, guys. This isn't just a poker thing. It's a poker thing, but it's not just a poker thing. Don't do that. Smoking weed, don't do it, guys. There are lots of rationalizations you can give to why weed might be good for poker, but take my word for it, my experience of what I've seen everyone else around me when they've tried to make weed work with poker, it's not been good. So this is, I'm definitely going in a lot of different directions here, but that's kind of like my intention for this video. I want to give people an idea of how many things there are to learn about poker, and not just about the strategy, about the lifestyle, about the way to think, about the way to shape your thought process. And not everyone, I understand, is going to have the same niceties that Helena has of me coaching her, and the rest of my students have. I understand that, and I understand that some people are, they walk into a silver spoon shoved in their mouth, and then some other people that they're going to have to grind by themselves. And not everyone's going to make it. Not everyone's going to be able to do it with the cards that they're dealt. But the one thing that I would say is that make a decision, be firm about it. If you're going to become a professional poker player, maybe you want to dip your toes in at the beginning to see how good you are, play on the side of your job. But if you're going to make that decision to become a professional poker player, you make that decision and you go down that route as hard as you can, because if something is worth doing, it's worth doing fucking well. And I'm going to say that so many times until people are repeating the second half of that sentence back at me, because that's what one of my teachers did when I was in the opera studio, the opera workshop that I was in, retreat, whatever you want to call it. He repeated back that and a bunch of other so profound things that's so simple, but oh my god, if you repeat it, you remember it. And that is one of the things I think is worth remembering for poker. So that'll do it for me, guys. I'm gonna try and stream today. We're gonna try and make some other videos. We've got a website that we're gonna be making. We're gonna put these videos on the website. We're gonna put the stream on Twitch, and we're gonna make some highlight reels for you. It's gonna be sick. We've got so many plans. I've had loads of meetings recently. We've got really cool people joining on the team. Remember, hashtag fuck GTO. Hashtag GTO has got to go. We're gonna be part of the movement that makes poker good again. I'm not gonna say great. And we're gonna be part of the movement of people that are actually gonna come at this from a nuanced angle, from a point of view that isn't linear, from a point of view that takes into account all of these different variables and intuitively decides what's best for us. So we're going to see if we can stream for maybe 3 or 4 hours today. I'm going to hopefully soon get up to 10 an hour. I think maybe not this session, but the session afterwards. I said...
Me neither.
And you neither, yeah. And we're going to see if we can get Helena up to 16, 25, 50 an hour back out, because she had a bit of a plunge recently. And you guys are going to see every step of the way of her career. I'm sorry for putting you on a show like that, like a zoo animal, but that's what the world needs. They need to see somebody's progression, so you can say, oh, that's how they're learning it. That's how I'm going to learn it. Oh, they said that. How would that reflect on me? And I'm going to talk to you every step along the way, guys, of how you could use the information I'm going to throw at you. And it's going to be really fucking gold dust information, trust me. It's really, really high level information you'll never get for this cheaper price. Probably free. Sometimes it'll be $5. Who knows? We'll see. And good luck, guys. I really mean it, and I've already had messages on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, people saying, wow, I've really learned a lot from your streams. I've taken another go at poker. I've started thinking about it in this different way. And this is without me giving out that much information. This is literally me playing, people watching and be like, huh, there is an alternative to this fucking GTO way of playing that we've been taught. And my God, it makes sense, because people realize it makes sense. And maybe it doesn't make sense to you. In which case I say think harder. No, I'm kidding. In which case I say then maybe try GTO, but I wish you all the best of luck with that. And we'll see. So guys, it's been an emotional ride so far. I've grinded real fucking hard for the last 3 days, and I'm going to keep going at it. I feel a lot of energy in the chat, in the way that people are speaking, a lot of positivity, and that is keeping me motivated. I'm learning a lot of things as we go. I'm learning from the chat, people saying things, people indulging me in their life stories and making hilarious comments, and I really appreciate every single bit of it. Some of my close friends are coming on to watch, and that's real sick as well. So, peace out. Peace out.